So, Joe Biden is out, Kamala Harris is in, and this is a brand new election to be the President of the United States of America in 2024. All right, so what's going on here? This one's kind of weird. The headline is Joe Biden is no longer running for re-election. This comes after an overwhelming pressure campaign from other Democrats, the media, celebrities, voters, all of which felt like he was just too old to be an effective candidate. And Joe Biden definitely gave them a lot of ammunition. First and foremost, his devastating debate performance a few weeks ago, where the American president didn't look like he knew where he was or what he was doing there. But we have to stop and recognize how rare it is for an incumbent president of the United States to bow out. Something like this hasn't happened in 56 years. In the United States of America, eligible incumbent presidents run for re-election, even when they're not doing a very good job. I mean, take George W. Bush. In 2004, the country was mired in a violent war in Iraq over weapons of mass destruction that didn't even exist. Now, he still ran for re-election, and he went ahead and won. And it gets weirder, because you could actually make the case that Biden's presidency was pretty successful. I mean, he managed to knock inflation down without pushing the country into a recession. A lot of economists didn't think that would be possible. He passed an infrastructure bill. He was able to at least stall the Russian invasion into Ukraine. And we kind of got back to normal here. Whatever this was, it wasn't happening. And he clearly wanted to run again. He's saying, look, I did a good job. Why am I the one that has to leave? The problem is so much of American elections is about momentum, and Donald Trump had a lot of it. His base loves him. His judges protected him from legal jeopardy. He survived an assassination attempt. And Joe Biden just was not able to communicate the Democratic platform, at least not how a lot of Democrats wanted to see it. He was losing ground in critical swing states. The gap in the polls was getting wider, and it just didn't look like he had the energy to catch up. And that was really frustrating for Democrats because they felt like they had so much they could hit Trump on, from his performance in the past to what he plans on doing in the future. Problem was, nobody was talking about Project 2025. That's an aggressive conservative agenda for the next administration. No, they were talking about how Joe Biden's old and mixes up names. So they panicked. And now we're going to have to wait and see if that panic pays off. The Democrats rallied very quickly around Joe Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris. And that's not the worst strategy in the world. They needed to move quickly, and they have. They needed to not divide the party right before the election, and they have. As an African-American woman, she represents core party constituency. And hey, we gotta say it, she's hit the ground running. The money started coming in the moment she started her campaign, $81 million in the first 24 hours. She's been excellent on social media, and that's rallied the Democratic base, which was feeling pretty deflated. It's like a shot of adrenaline when the Democrats needed it most. So if you're a Democrat, you're thinking, hey, so far so good, right? But the thing is, in some ways, she may not be a better candidate than Biden. For one thing, fair or not, she does not have a great approval rating. It's at about 38%. Republicans are going to try to hammer her as a California liberal, and that's not going to help her a whole lot in an election that's going to be won and lost in the working class Midwest. Now, Democrats are saying, look, those low approval ratings, the country just doesn't know her yet. She's a former prosecutor. Who better to prosecute the shortcomings of Donald Trump? And you can see that Republicans don't really know quite how to attack her. Some are saying this is a former prosecutor who put a lot of people in prison. And others are saying, well, this is a California liberal who's soft on crime. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this all plays out. But one thing is clear. Democrats have rallied around their new candidate, Kamala Harris. It's a major risk, but with major risk comes great rewards, and we'll be following very closely here at the Bertelsmann Foundation.